I was explaining about the bridge survey or location of the bridges. Transit transit study or tachymetry is used for a topographic survey of the bridges. You know what you mean by tachymetric survey with the help of the stadia hairs. Okay. The result of this survey are plotted to the scale of 1:1000 and contours are drawn by the Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. So the contours are drawn by the method of interpolation at an interval of 1 to 2 meter based on the nature of the ground or topography. So directly we can't go for the construction of the bridges. So we have to do some preliminary surveys. Okay, and we have to see some topographic structures. Uh, Whether there is existing of lakes or mountains or any rivers, railway tracks, etc. So we have to see all those things and we have to go for the construction of the bridge. So then we will call it as a preliminary survey. After doing the preliminary survey, we will go for the detailed survey. So when the topographic map is prepared, the following details should be shown on the map. So if you open your Google map and you can see all the topographical features. Okay, either it may be a road existing of the road, mountain, lake, river, uh, any national highways, state highways, railway tracks, etc. Okay, so what are the important things that should be present in your map? Okay, that is a topographical map. The first one, the first, okay, the first one is north-south line. Okay, means there should be indication of the northern side. Okay, once you show the north side means it will be obviously the opposite one will be the southern one, the right hand side will be the east and the left hand side will be the west. Okay, river name and its water flow direction, town or village name nearest to the bridge side, road width over the bridge, existing road width which the approaches to the bridge. Okay, so say that you want to construct a bridge. Okay, so the road connecting to the that bridge, okay, there will be say the national highway. Okay, we should know that the width of the national highway. Other it is a state highway, we should know that the width of the state highway, or any village road. Okay, so we should know the width of that one, radius of curvature. Okay, in curves you have already learned. Okay, we have two types of curve. One is a horizontal curve and one is a vertical curves. So in a horizontal curve, again we have n number of simple curve, transit curve, reverse curve. Mute your mic. Okay. In a horizontal curve, we have simple curve, transit curve, reverse curve, and in vertical curve we have a valley curve and Smith curve. So we have to know the radius, okay, where it is going to approach the bridge. Okay, details of the benchmarks. Okay, means before doing any survey we should have some certain benchmarks. Okay, then low water level, okay, ordinary flood level and highest flood level. Okay, for example, say this is my bridge. Okay, these are the abutments. If there is any intermediate support, we will call this one as a piers. The outer one we will call as abutment. The inner one we will call it as a piers. Okay, so this is my road. Okay, here it may be there may be a flow of water or etc. So we have to know determine the maximum flood level and minimum flood level or low water level, such that say that if I draw the cross section like this. Okay, so the water level, if it is like this means say water level is around I will give RL level as 97 meters. Okay, then my bridge top should be around 100 or 98 meters. Okay, the difference should be little bit greater than this one, means that it should be greater than the maximum flood level. Okay, so we have to determine this one, because during the rainy seasons, okay, nowadays you can see during the river rainy season, the Mulamata river, the water level will rise. Okay, wherever there is a low level area, the water will enter into the roads or the bridges. So we have to look into that one, and we have to rise the height of the bridge. So we have to determine the low water level, flood level, and highest flood level. Okay, that is maximum flood level. And we have to also determine the maximum discharge velocity for the catchment area at the bridges. So if you go in deeper inside the water supplying, the piers will be given in the, it will be like this in this shape. So what, whenever the water will come, it will divide and it will go like this. Okay, here the positive pressure will be created, and here the negative pressures will be created. And also sometimes if the flow is greater, then means there will be some damages due to this support. So we have to consider all those things, and we have to build a strong base. Okay, the results of borings and pits. So if this is your water level, so what we will do, we will excavate until we get the hard strata, and we will provide the pillars or any kind of support. So these all things we have to consider before going for the construction of the bridges. Next, locations of piers. Piers, just now I have said, if this is your bridge, okay, the first and the last support, the first and the last support, we will call it abutments, and the intermediate supports. If you see any bridges, they will write P1, P2, P3, and P4. Or if you go for any kind of either in flyovers, you can see P1, P2, P3, P4 like this. Even also if you see the metro construction of metro, there also they have given the pillars or piers name. Okay, so these are the piers. Intermediate supports are the piers. There are two methods of locating the piers for the bridges. Either it may be located in water area, or it may be on the dry area. The first method is that by finding the length of the center line of the bridge accurately, and the second one is by locating the central point of the each piers. Okay, so we will see one by one. That is by finding the length of center line of the bridge. If I draw the bridge like this, it is a plan. Okay, the car is moving in this direction. This is the center line of your bridge. Okay, this will be your width of the bridge, and this will be your length of the bridge. Okay, so this giving the center line is same. Okay, if you understand the giving the center line for the residential building or any commercial building, the same procedure will be followed for other types of constructions. Okay, only in terms of tunnels, it is little bit different, but for any structures like roads, pillars, culverts, etc., it is same. Only the thing is that you have to know, determine the center line boundaries. Okay, width, length. If you know, then you can just give the center line in this side. The first one is by finding the length of the center line of the bridge. The center line is the distance between 2 points, okay, of two opposite bank of a river. Okay, here this is the distance between from one bank to another banks. These 2 points lies on the center of the line of a road or a railway. Here you can see it lies at the center. The length of the center line of a small bridge or a short bridge can be measured directly by using steel tape. Okay, directly we can measure this one. Next, the procedure of measuring the length is same to as it is followed in the measuring the length of the baseline of a tertiary triangulations. Okay, this is the first triangulation. Okay, in that again, if you are doing the next division of the area, it is called as the second triangulation, and this one is the third triangulations. Okay, with the help of the tachymetry or with the help of the any measuring instruments, you can just measure the length. Okay. For the long bridge, the length is generally determined by method of the triangulations. Okay, with the help of the baseline. There are four methods for locating the piers for a bridge. Out of those four methods, the important methods are explained following. Okay, this is the first method. Here you can see this is the river. Okay. So I want to construct a bridge. Okay. I want to construct a bridge here where my vehicle will move from here. This is in and this is out. Okay. See, this bridge is constructed over the river. Okay. Sometimes there will be underpass. Instead of river, there will be underpass. Okay. In normal cities, what you are see. Okay. Here you can see these are the banks. Bank of the river. Next, the river is flowing in this direction. Next, this is the center line, the road center line, and we are going with the help of the triangulation, that is baseline. Okay. See, by seeing the figure, you will come to know how to give the positions of the piers. Okay. So here we will be having one pier, that is abutment, and here we have having one support. Okay. If the width is more, okay, then say if the width is more, we require two supports depending upon the length. Say we require two support here. Say if the width is very small, okay, then we will require only one support. Okay. So it depends upon the structural engineer, and he will say how many piers is required, or if you want to reduce the pier width, then you have to increase the width of depth of the beam and also slab. If you are going for RCC, then it will be the depth of the beam will be decided by L upon D equals to 20, very first design, that is the L will be the length of between the support, D is the depth, and 20 is the constant. So you want to determine the depth, it will be therefore L upon 20. So we will get the, say L is around 20 meter. Okay, this is 20. So if you cancel, you will get the depth of the beam. Okay. Okay. Directly we will get the beam depth. So number of columns, number of piers, these all are very structural. So once he give all the upload plan, means like this. So he will give like this. Think that this is your bridge. Okay, this is abutment, and this is the pillar you want to give. So how we will give? Once the structural engineer, he will give all the details and he will mention the distance between the supports. So this thing you have to execute in the site. Okay, just for your reference, the river is flowing in this direction. Okay, and your car is moving in this direction. So P1 and P2 are nothing but the piers. Okay. In this method, P and Q are the 2 points located on the opposite bank, okay, of a river on a center line of a road. PR is the baseline which is exactly perpendicular, the center line or axis PQ of a bridge. Then in this case, the line PR, here you can see line PR and the angle PQR are carefully and accurately measured. So what we are doing with the help of the triangulations, you have already learned with the help of the triangulations, and also you have learned in hydrographic surveying how to determine the locating the 2 points with by standing in the shores. The angle PQR are carefully and accurately measured. Note that for the better accuracy, PQR are carefully measured. Sorry. Note that the better accuracy, the angle PRQ is measured by the method of 6 repetitions. Means 6 times you are doing. Okay. 6 repetitions means 3 repetitions with the telescope direct and 3 telescope with the pivoted telescope. Means left face observation and right face observation with the help of the theodolite. Okay. Therefore, the another baseline PS is laid. Okay, here you can see another baseline PS is laid on the same bank but on the upstream side because there is no check in the first one. So later on what we will do, we will take some angles. Okay, we will take some angles with the help of these baselines, and again with the help of the theodolite, left face and right face, we will direct and we will locate these 2 points. Okay, this is how in the first method we are going to locate the pier positions. In the second method also it is similar. Here you can see the river is flowing in this directions, okay, and your vehicle is moving in this direction, okay? And this is your center line. Okay, this is your bridge. Your vehicle is moving in this direction. Here I want to locate the piers. Okay, here you can see there are 3 piers. So what we are doing, we are laying one baseline here, here and here. So these are the chains, say 5 meter, 5 meter, 5 meter, 5 meter. There are also 5 meter. Okay. So then what we will do, we will just keep our instrument here and take 45 degree. So we will from here and here. Okay. So we will get 1 point here. For similarly 45 degree. So we will get the second point here. Again we will shift our instrument here. We will get the positions. So for check, what you can do, you can just reverse it. So for this one check, what you are doing, you are keeping the instrument here, 45 degree, 45 degree. You are getting one, the second pier, and similarly the third pier. So we have a number of methods for locating the piers. Okay. As you located the column positions here by knowing the distance, here with the help of the angles, we are locating the locations. Next, advantages and disadvantages of this method. This method does not require to turn of an angle to establish any one intersecting lines. Okay, but these lines can be established by simply sighting from one point on the bank to the corresponding point on the another bank. Okay, means from directly here you can sight without any establishing the respective point. It is an ideal method, but not commonly used in the practice because it depends upon the favorable conditions such that the length, the road and the flowing river should be straight. Okay, then only it is possible. And if you are possible to draw the control points, then only it is possible, and it depends upon the favorable conditions for laying out the baselines. So to draw baselines, if it is possible, then we can use it. Laying out of the baseline exactly perpendicular to the axis of the center. Okay. So we have remaining other methods. Just go through these things. Here also you can see the river is flowing in this way. Okay. So you want to construct, then what we are doing, we are giving the control points. Sorry. These are the abundments. Here we have piers. So we are establishing the control points away from the center line. And this will be our baseline. From here, baselines we are taking, again we are taking the angles. Okay, to locate these piers positions. Okay, the procedure is same. You can understand the first two concepts, the remaining are the same one. Just go through this method. It is very simple. Next one we have setting out of tunnels. Okay, it is little bit complicated one because there will be a mountain like this, and you want to construct a tunnel. So to draw a center line, it is very difficult. So what we will do, we will go up the hill and we come down. So setting out of the tunnel, it is little bit a complicated task as compared to the other types of setting out methods. And there is one video with animation. One animation video is there. I will send it into the group. You will by seeing that video also will understand how to take the how to give out the center line for the tunnels. Okay. So we will see this one. Setting out of work for tunnel done is done in a very typical manner. Okay, with various operation. It is not very easy one. Okay, and it is very complicated one also. Careful study of the actual topography of the tunnel is the most essential so as to obtain the best alignment for the proposed tunnel. If I draw the top view, say this is your hill, this is front view, okay, and this is top view. Okay, whether you want to construct a tunnel here, I'm seeing from top. Okay, whether you want to construct the tunnel here or if you want to construct the tunnel here, so we have to see all the possibilities and we have to choose the best line. Okay, for example, say this is your village. Okay, here I have one lake or pond. Here there is one temple. So I can't take my road here. Okay, or I can't take the road nearer to this temple. So what I will do, I will study all the topographical map. Then I will choose the best center line or best road or alignment for the construction of the roads. Okay, by studying all the topographical things. Say that somewhere here there is an important place. Okay, central business. So we have to take that road towards this point because most of the people will be using the road. So we have to take the road near to that point or any busy areas where there is a maximum usable of the road. Similarly, here also we have to study the topography. Okay, to construct the tunnel. Construction of the tunnel are very expensive, hence care and experience are required in deciding the final alignment. Alignment of the road means this one, alignment of the tunnel. You can, here we will call it as the alignment of the road or highway here for the tunnels. Whether I have to choose this first option, second option, third option, or fourth option. Operations to be carried out for setting out of tunnels. Okay, there are 4 operations. Operations are carried for setting out tunnels. The first one is setting out or surface survey and investigations. Okay, surface survey and investigations to be done. Surface alignment of the tunnel, formation level of the tunnel. Okay, formation level means at what level or at what height. See, this is my benchmark 100. The I will give an example for the road, then only you will understand formation level. Then I will give, your road will be like this. Okay, you can't construct the road, okay, in undulation form. What I will do, I will choose one line. Okay, either it may be a falling gradient or it may be a rising gradient. Okay, this one we will call it as a formation level. Okay, here we'll be having some filling of the material. Here we have to cut the material or the ground. Here also it is cutting, filling. So this one will call it as a formation level. Similarly, for the construction of the tunnels also, there will be, we have to choose on formation level. Okay, then shaft, you know what you mean by shaft, the open thing. Okay, where your train or vehicle runs. Curves in the tunnels. One second. Okay, curves. If there are any curves possible to, or if it is not possible to go in a straight line, sometimes we will be having some curves. Okay, for example, from Pune to Satara, if you go means, it is there is a mountain like this. Okay, and you are seeing from top. Okay, instead of straight, it is little bit in a curved manner. Okay, so because ideally we can't construct a straight line because due to some geographical features, or if you go straight means, and if there are any loose materials means the entire the top structures will fall down. So here the geographical features also matters more. Setting out from end of the tunnel. Okay, transferring the alignment from the surface to the underground. Here you can see we are doing the survey from the surface means above the hill, then we will transfer it to the ground. Yeah, this is important. Maximum time they will ask in the examinations. So for MCQ's point of view, just remember the operations to be carried out for setting out of the tunnels. The first one is setting out or surface survey and investigations. Okay, in surface survey work, a preliminary survey should be done with the transit or stadia or tachymetry for at least 3 to 4 kilometers on the either side of the alignment selected, and it is plotted to the scale of 1:20,000. Okay, with the counters mapping at an interval of 5 meters. Then this plan with the counter drawn are carefully studied and final alignment is selected. Just now I said that there will be, see here we have one option, second option, third option, fourth option. These all are done in the preliminary surveys. Okay, so doing all and studying with respect to the topographical features. So we will select the best alignment or good alignment. Then after preliminary survey, we will having some detailed survey. A very detailed study of a geographical structures, that is study of rocks, fault, fold, etc. will be there now. So we have to study, and also the type of materials, okay, and type of stones, either it is types of rocks, igneous rock, metamorphic rocks, and volcanic eruptions, how it is formed. So all those things will be done. Geographical structures of a hill or a mountain is done in a surface survey. Total budget or cost of tunneling depends upon the nature of the rock material or soil strata to be drilled or bored. Say that, for example, this is my hill or a mountain. So for me to go in a spiral way, okay, to go like this without cutting anything to come here, okay, from A to B. Say it cost me around 100 crores. Okay. Similarly, for tunneling, say it cost me 200 crores. Depending upon considering all the stratas, okay, geographical stratas, okay. So it cost me 200 crores. So it depends upon on the amount also, how much fund is required for normal roads and for tunnel roads. So this also we will see. Say if it is more than our budget means we will go for this one. If not, if it is considerable, say 120, 150, up to 150, if it is there means okay, we will go for the construction of the tunnels. Okay. Later on, we can provide one tour book for the collections of the vehicles, collection of the fees from the vehicles. So it depends upon the economic stratas also. The following are the important points to be considered for suggested route of the tunnel. The first one is that alignment of the center line or axis of the tunnel. If this is your tunnel, okay, this will be our center line or axis. It is not that your tunnel should be perfectly straight. Sometimes it will be little bit inclined also. Axis or the center line. So we have to take care of this center line or alignment. Next one is gradient. Either it is a flat, either it is a rising gradient, or it is a falling gradient. Okay. Next, exact length of the tunnel determinations. Next, permanent station marking. So we have to look look after the important points or important factors before going for the construction of the tunnels. Next, what are the instruments used for the setting up? So here we will use theodolite, measuring tapes, tripods. Theodolite for longest tunnel setting out, the 20-degree theodolite is needed, and for more precise 20 second this one. For more precise, we will use for 5 second, 10 second, or sometimes we will use for 1 second. Measuring tapes, steel tape of 50-meter length is needed for the measurement of the center line of the tunnel marked on the surface. Okay, means if this is your tunnel, what we will do, we will take the measurement up above the hill or a mountain. Okay, this is called as a surface measurement. Later on, what we will do, say this is one control point, this is another control point, this is another control point. We will drop the control points by drilling or by any other method inside the tunnels. Okay, if I call this one as A, B, C, D, after excavation, what we will drop the control points, that is A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash. So it is also being used for transferring the levels, okay, underground, and measuring the sides of the traverse linking the two ends of the tunnels. Tripod. There are two tripods fitted with the aluminum cap supported to the used to support the tape. And the important point is that surface alignment of the tunnel. So what we will do here, we will do the alignment above the hill. Okay. So for short tunnels, the tunnels are driven from each end of the tunnels as shown in the figure. That is AB AB, BC, CD, DE, EF, and FG. Okay, tunnel driven from the end B. Okay, here the tunnel is driven from the end F. ABBC shows the surface alignment. Okay, point D. Okay, shows the peak or the ridge of the hill. This point. For long tunnels, tunnels are driven from each end and also from one or more intermediate shaft. Okay, here you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, the tunnels are driven from B here, okay, and F here. If it is, if there are any other possibilities, means what we will do, we will go for the intermediate shaft drilling. And it is more essential to set out the center line of a tunnel very precisely on the surface from starting to the last point. Okay. For that, if the complete center line cannot be marked, then in such case, it should be at least be set out over the continuous shaft near it ends. Precise instruments and advanced surveying methods are required to avoid the inaccuracy whenever ground surface at the tunnel site find more steep or rough. In such work, patience, profit, and more experience are necessary. Okay, for construction of the roads, bridges. If you have any less precise persons, also not probable problem. But in tunnel, it is a very challenging task here. So we have to have a good person and experienced person should be having. We should have, and also the proper care should be taken. If it leads, if not, if it will leads to the collapse or falling of the work. Okay, in the above figure, the surface alignment shows the single ridge or a single peak. You see, here we have only one ridge point. Ridge or a peak of a mountain from which both ends of the tunnels are intervisible. Hence, if the both ends of the tunnels are visible, then the method of balancing means that you know what how you did in the direct ranging. Okay, if the 2 points are intervisible, so we have two types of ranging, that is direct ranging method and indirect ranging method. Here also, if you're standing at the top of the here, this is A point, this is B point, this is your hill. From this point, both the ends are visible. Okay, are visible. Then the method of balancing in is repeatedly applied so as to obtain the straight line. So in terms of direct ranging, we will directly go for the determination of the ranging points, that is for A, B, C, D, etc. from the control points from the main stations. So like that also, with the help, if the both the 2 points are visible, so it is very easy to have a straight line. Okay. Then the permanent stations are located at all the important points with the maximum accuracy on this line to fix the direction of the center line on the both sides of the ridge or the peak. This line further extends beyond the each end of the tunnel, and it is advisable to have a two station visible from each end of the tunnel to protect against any disturbance of the station house. Then the observations such as two brick pillars or concrete pillars are erected at the suitable places. So here what we are doing, what is the sound? do the pillars of this central line alignment as you done in the for determining of the permanent benchmarks. Okay, it may be either it may be a brick pillar or it may be a concrete pillars. So after making the center line on the surface, then the exact horizontal distance between the two ends of the tunnel should be ascertained. Okay, it can be done by the method of measuring on the surface by the means of steel tape. For better accuracy in the measurement, tension is applied in the tape so with the spring balance. For steep slope and rough ground, the results are obtained by using the tripod fitted with aluminum cap. The transit being used in the line in the tripod heads, corrections for the temperatures. So we have any different types of corrections applied for the tapes. Okay, that is due to expansion, contractions, etc. Sometimes due to unavoidable obstructions, it is not possible to run the center line on the surface. Okay, in this situation, the length and the direction of the center line or axis of the tunnel can be obtained by the method of traversing or triangulations. Then formation level, I have already said that with the help of the whether it is a normal gradient, a rising gradient or a falling gradient. So we will choose a uniform gradient. Okay, where the slope is not that much steep. Okay, the slope will be the uniform one. The tunnels are generally on the grade, hence the highest point must be close as possible to the center line tunnel. Okay, the slight uniform gradient or slope is provided to form the formation for the drain point of view. Even the tunnel is uniform. Okay, if your tunnel is if it is horizontal also, then what will do? You will provide little bit gentle slope, such that if there is any water forming inside, means it will go and it will come outside the tunnels. Or you can, if it is not possible, you can provide the drains. Okay, side drains will be provided if you see in the tunnels. For tunnels, the gradient is provided in one direction only. Means in long, if it is longer one, means what we will do, we will provide like this. Okay, the rain will come like this. If it is the short tunnel, means only one side gradient will be given. Either it will be a falling gradient. In case of the longer tunnel, both the directions it will be given, means it will be given like this. Shaft is nothing but the drilled area or open area which is meant for the movement of the vehicles. One or even two or more than vertical shaft are dug on the center line so as to have additional working space for making the construction activities more easier with the comfort. Curves, curves in the tunnels. It is generally essential to make the tunnel straight, and possible curves in the tunnel should be avoided due to the cost. Okay, so should have a displacement, means the shortest point connecting between the two points. Okay, so it should be almost ideal alignment, means it should be straight as much as possible. We have to avoid the curves because here it is the length, it is say 10 meter. Here to cover the same point it will be say 12 meters. So obviously the amount will be increased. But if there is no option, then setting out of the curve on the surface is done by the method of deflection angles. You already learned this one, or by method of tan. Next thing from the end of the option is to set out the center line from each end points. Okay, for setting out, the theodolite is set up. Okay, for TE students, you have already learned how to set up this curves. Okay, and also means transitional curves. You have learned to set out that thing. Okay, with the help of the theodolite. For assistants, I will explain that one in the next class. So the theodolite is set up over the permanent terminal station marked by the observation which is outside the terminal or end of the tunnel. The backside is taken on two visible stations which are already fixed on the center line. So there will be a center line. The theodolite will be set, and here this is say our station A. So we will take the final backside, and we will go for the intermediate side of forward side. Then the theodolite is directed up the tunnel, and the permanent marking is done on the roof or the floor of the tunnel by taking the double face observation, that is either by left face observation and right face observation. This process is repeated and continued as the work proceeds further till it gives the necessary visibility to set up the transit inside the tunnel. That is, we will go for what we do in the fly leveling. The same thing it is out with the help of the theodolite up to the visible point. If further it is not visible, means what we will do, we will go for the change of point. Okay, then before starting, what we will do, we will take the back set, and again we will go for the foresight. Okay. The theodolite is shifted on one of the marking, and the center line is marked or prolonged in the same or similar way. The center inside the tunnel can be marked or nailed, or you can use the pegs, or you can use the rods, or wooden plugs are driven into the holes in the roof. Okay. Next, transferring the alignment from the surface to the underground of the tunnel. Here you see we have transferred the things on the surface. Then what we have to transfer it on the undergrounds. So what we will do, we will do some drillings holes. So we will transfer these points into the tunnels. Initially I have said that this is our tunnel. Here we'll be having our surface survey, that is here it is A, B, C, D, E, F, like this. These points it will be transferred to the ground. To transfer the alignment from shaft, it is a tedious and a difficult job. It needs more skill and a great care because the shaft is small, around 3 to 5 meter in diameter, and a short line is to be produced several thousand meters. Procedure is that two wooden beams are fixed at the top of the shaft near its edges at the right angle to the direction of the tunnels as shown in the figure. Theodolite instrument is set up at one of the stations which are already established on the center line, and it is shifted accurately on the another stations. The thing is that, see, I will explain here only. So here we will set up the theodolites here, and we will be having the points here, control points. So what we will do, we will place one beam here. Okay, we will place one beam here. You can see the wooden beam will be there. Here it will be supported. These points are transferred to the grounds. Okay, we can call this one as the plumb bobs. Okay, you already seen what you mean by plumb bobs. So we will support that because due to the weight it will stay vertical. Okay, so the control points are transferred to the ground. So after getting these points, so we'll go on carrying these with reference to these points. We'll go on carrying the other points. Here we will provide one plumb bob, so it will touch the ground. So we will get say point C, D, E, F, G, H, like this. So the alignment is gone, done. Out of for the pipeline is also similar one. CVR is there. Setting out work for the pipelines. For AC students, it is not there. Tunnels also is not there for AC students. Only for TE students it is there. So AC students just attend this one because we get some ideas. So setting out work for the pipelines. Okay. So normally how we do the laying of the pipeline is that this will be our road. Okay. This is our road. Here there will be some gaps will be provided here. So what we will do, we will dig around 3 to 4 feet below the road surface, and we will lay the pipelines. This is actually what we do. But if there are any pipes, water supply pipes directly taken from the rivers, okay, huge pipes will be there. So then those how we will lay, uh, means how you keep first you find the locations where we have to provide, and how you set out and where you place. So here we can see that the first thing is that will depend upon the diameters, how big the pipe is there, and it also depends upon the topography, such that we can't take inside the cities, because bigger pipes we should be taken outside the cities. Then from there it will be connected to the municipalities. From there it will be given to the overhead tanks. Okay, from there it with the small pipes it will come to your home. So we will see for a bigger one, the flow in the water line is generally under pressures. Okay, such lines may follow the ground profile. See here, if the profile is falling gradient, means the potential energy will be converted into kinetic energy, and the water will flow towards the gravity. Okay, this is called as downstream. But the flow is severe in the gravity flow. Hence, the accurate setting of the alignment and the grade is essential. Okay, for the largest diameter water line having a definite grade, so that the blow off walls are located at the lower points, air walls are provided at the higher points. Okay, the gradient of these sewers are affected by the velocity of the flow. Okay, pipe material, pipe size, pipe shape, topography, depth of the connecting lines, manholes, outfalls, and catch basins. So these are the important factors that we have to consider. So see, the pressure is more, and you are having only 1 inch pipe, that is 25 pipe, means there will be a chances of bursting out of the pipes. Okay, and at the downstream, okay, the water is coming like this, so it is connecting to another pipe. The velocity will be more, okay, due to the gravitational force and also due to the pressures. So we should have minimum size of the pipe, and also the material should be strong enough. Or if you use plastic pipe, means it will be a bursting of the pipe. But you can see, normally we use cast iron pipes. Okay, and also pipe shape generally we will go for the circular one. Topography, that is whether it is a falling gradient or rising gradient. Depth of connecting lines, manholes, outfalls, and catch basins. The survey should know in advance approximate quantity and the location of the material likely to be deposited on the side of trench, so that he can decide how much of the reference stack shall be marked. The reference stack shall usually mark of the reference with respect to the benchmarks, okay, or with respect to the alignment, whether it is for rising or falling one. The alignment of the sewer or water line should be marked by the drilling the stacks at an interval of 10 to 20 meters. Generally, in your home, you can see we will be having some inspection chambers. IC, we'll call it as IC chambers. It will be provided. So, if this is your home, and here you have a toilet, bathroom, etc. So, your pipe will be connected to the drainage. Okay, but in your home, if you see, we will be having some small chambers. We call this one as IC chambers or inspection chambers. So it will be, for a larger one, it will be provided at the distance of 10 to 20 meters from one to another. It will be 10 to 20 meters apart. The stacks intervals for alignments stack shall be reduced at the curves. Okay, at the curve point we can provide it near bit closure to maintain the line and the level while setting out. Use side trails to help out. Okay. So this one also have on video. I will provide you. Next one, sewer lines similar to the pipelines. Okay, that much important. It's not important one. Uh, in your city or in Pune city, you have seen about the construction of the underground drainage system. Underground drainage systems, they will provide a pipes. Okay, sewer pipes. If this is your home, okay, if there are home like this, and this is your road. In between roads, will having some manholes, correct? So in between them, there will be a pipe connecting to those manholes. We call as a sewer lines. Okay, from where all the waste will be connected to this sewer line. It is very similar to the uh, stepping out for the highways. Only the thing is that we have to take care about the gradient. Okay, with the help of the natural slope. So here we don't have any pumps or etc. to push the seaward. So with the help of the following gradient and with the help of the gravitational force, we have to lay the sewer lines. Okay. The remaining things are not that much important. So this is end of your sixth unit. If anybody having